All right, guys, welcome to my channel. So I haven't done this in a while, but Formula One is back basically from the summer break. I think Zandvoort basically gave us a pretty good idea of like what the second half of the season could look like. Honestly, it's to a point where like I'm not going to go back and recap the entire first half of the season. Quite honestly, that's not my style. But I've already talked about it, quite honestly, so like I don't think there's a need for it. But what I really want to talk about is basically what happened the past weekend and essentially what I think it means, and more importantly, who I think is actually going to win the championship on the driver's side as well as the Constructors' Cup. Things have changed a little bit, but I think because of Zandvoort, it's gotten a little bit more interesting, quite honestly. I mean, first off, at Zandvoort itself, basically, it's to a point where Lando Norris very good weekend. Basically, I mean, he got pole position, he got third in the sprint, of course, which is pretty impressive, and then of course winning the Grand Prix itself, winning the race itself is pretty impressive in and of itself. Uh, but this wasn't one of those races where I guess he started off like on where he started off in front and then got clean air. It was more so he was able to control the pace, and I guess he was able to just cruise along and finish at that point. Uh, he actually he actually had to win this race. Let's be honest, he had to actually win this race to a point where when the restart happened, let's be honest, when Max crashed out, that was a surprise, especially in his home turf. Uh, Kimi Antonelli basically got him on the restart. That was pretty impressive. And it looked like for a while there, I honestly thought as well to myself, quite honestly, that Kimi could have won it because if he controlled the race well enough, I think there was some strategies that kind of played off a little bit that didn't work off. But the fact of the matter is, Norris was able to stay with them. That was what I thought was really impressive. The fact that Norris was able to stay with them at that point, and he closed the gap from that situation. I guess from a perspective, when Norris passed him and got into the lead, I basically he took control from there, honestly. And that was one of those things where I thought the fact that he was able to beat Antonelli by 11 seconds, I think that was a clear indicator of where McLaren's engine was, or McLaren's engine was. Now, granted, Piastri did not do much at this point, but honestly, more so to like this might be a Norris thing because like Norris is the reigning champion at that point, and now like he won Hungary, of course, and then of course before the summer break, and now winning this. That's two in a row essentially. I mean, could this be a streak for him? I don't know, because like let's be honest, like last year it was almost the same thing where like Piastri was winning, and then essentially Piastri collapsed. Of course, let's be honest, Oscar collapsed, but Lando started winning all those races, and so you might have to look at it a little bit different. Like Lando has definitely adjusted. Let's see if he can adjust really well. Now it comes down to Kimi itself. Basically, he definitely had an interesting weekend. It was a definitely important weekend. It was quite a quiet for him, but it was definitely interesting. Now I know saying quiet is is a word that is kind of weird to say for a guy that finished second, but I mean honestly, where he's at right now, he's leading the world champion. He's leading the championship, right? I mean, like he's only 20 years old. I mean, if he wins it, I think he'll be the youngest at that point, beating Lewis's record at that point. And coming back from the summer break, I mean, honestly, you've got you got Norris getting faster. So the question is not, and well, of course, not only Norris, but you have Hamilton and Clark like right behind him as well at that point as well too. But the fact of the matter is that Kimi did not collapse like the way Oscar did last year. I mean, he hasn't collapsed just yet under the pressure, but it was kind of channeling a little bit to the point where like he finished fourth in the sprint. But the fact of the matter is that he once got second in the Grand Prix. He finished P2 in Zandvoort, was pretty impressive. So, and let's be honest, I mean, for a while there, he did have the lead. He did have the lead after the restart. So that was pretty impressive over itself. Now, granted, Norris came back and took him over, but he still was able to like come out with a healthy lead in the championship. I mean, right now Antonelli has about give me a second. 242 points, while Russell is in second at 183, as well as Hamilton. They're both tied. And then Norris being at 159, and then Leclerc being 155. Max Verstappen is kind of surprised, all the way 112. So right now, Kimi has a 59-point lead at this point, quite honestly. So um, over both Russell and Hamilton at this point. Let's see. So from that perspective, honestly, I would say that with the number of races that remain, it's kind of a significant lead at this point. If he can increase upon it, that'd be really impressive on itself. We have to talk about Max. I mean, it was his home Grand Prix, and like the fact of the matter is, his he didn't even complete the first lap. That was like I think a massive disappointment, not only from his part and Red Bull's part, but from the home fans themselves as well too. Uh, he caused the red flag as well too, which is really in some kind of weird in and of itself because like the fact that he created the red flag he himself is surprising. Fortunately he was okay, but championship wise, the dude's out. I mean, like honestly, he's like 130 points behind Antonelli, so there's no he's gonna get back in it. Mathematically, he's still in it, but are there realistically any points that are available for him? I don't see it honestly. Red Bull definitely does not have the best car at this point, honestly, and like I think this is what happens when you let Christian Horner leave. You get rid of him. This is what happens. I mean, everyone thought like, oh, Christian Horner, like they needed him for this, like they didn't need him for this. But reality is like this is what's showing basically, and the fact that you have two Merc drivers ahead of him. I mean, I don't know what to say at this one. Can Max come back and get anything out of this? Best bet, maybe P3 at best. At best, P3. But realistically, most likely going to be P4 overall in the championship. Uh, Red Bull has to basically go back to the drawing board and basically make some massive improvements to the car itself. They have to make some massive improvements. I think, from a perspective, who can actually win this championship? There are 5 names that come into play now at this point. I originally said there was maybe 3 to 4, but now it's 5. Antonelli's, of course, leader in the pack. Then you got Russell and Hamilton, which they're like 59 points behind him, basically. They're both tied. Then, of course, you've got Norris. I mean, I was kind of putting him out there, but now he's become the true wild card at this point. And then, of course, Leclerc is your absolute wild card. I mean, if Charles can actually come back and win, I'm not talking about the scoring points. I'm talking about winning every race from here on out, and everything goes his way, he can win this. But reality is, will that happen? I don't know. With Russell, I mean, honestly, it's kind of surprising. I mean, he did win the sprint, of course, in Zandvoort. He did win the sprint, but I think more so to the point where the fact that he's tied second in the championship with Hamilton and being only 59 points behind. I mean, Antonelli being his partner or his colleague in the Mercedes Merc team, basically, or teammate. Sorry, in this Merc team, I didn't mean partner, but teammate. He's driving the same car, basically, pretty much. As it could be. So it's a possibility that George could come out. I mean, if George starts winning all the races and gets P1 and Antonelli gets P3s, yeah, I mean, let's be honest. I think George becomes a dangerous individual to the point like he could win the championship, his first championship. I mean, let's be honest. You got Lando winning his first last year. Is Russell due for his next one at that point? I don't know. It's hard to say, but it's a possibility. I'm not going to take out Hamilton because honestly, Hamilton, even though he's tied with Russell, he finished 4th at Zandvoort. And I want to say that because him and Leclerc finished 4th and 5th respectively, I don't think Lewis is at fault here because it seems like he's getting the best that he can out of the engine, out of the car itself. But I think Ferrari has to make some improvements. I don't know what is going on exactly with them, but it seems like I mean, honestly, there have been weekends where during the season where the pace was there, but it sounds like it felt like basically Mercedes was like more complete than Ferrari was, honestly. Granted, yeah, Lewis has already won this one season, and Leclerc has also won in this season as well too. But if they really need to be a threat, they need to start winning some races. They need to be P1s, not P2s, P3s, but P1s. Either Lewis or Leclerc. Honestly, Hamilton, he's got to win he's got to win the rest. If he can win the rest, and if Kimi finishes P2 and a few, and then P4 and a few others, I think then yeah, Lewis can win it at that point. He can, but to be honest, Ferrari's always consistently had issues. Sorry, consistently has issues for the past 10 years, honestly, and they've never like really fixed the issues. So time will only tell. Now, as I said, Lando is definitely the wild card in this bunch because realistically speaking, I didn't see him coming in and basically coming out, coming into this as being, a fourth contender more than anything else. I was thinking more of like, Antonelli, uh, Russell, and Lewis more than anything else, and maybe Leclerc here and there. But like, honestly, the fact that Norris is now like fourth, and he's only like maybe 83 points away. I mean, he's we got like another 10 more races to go, right? So honestly, yeah, granted, those other two races were disregarded or discontinued for now because of the war, but he can, if he does win all, put it this way, if he wins, he does P1 for the next 10, which is possible for Landis. He's done that. Um, and Antonelli is P3. He's got it as well, too. I mean, honestly, McLaren has the fastest car out there. I mean, like Norris might have the fastest car out there. Honestly, I mean, it's the way that he was driving him Zandvoort. I mean, against Antonelli, the fact he was able to keep up with him and such. I mean, that was pretty impressive. So I think he might win it. He could have it possibly. He could possibly do it. But here's how I see it now in percentage wise. Basically, now there's a percentage I put out here. Basically, so you got Kimi Antonelli basically at basically 55%. I would say that winning this championship. Russell probably at 15, Hamilton maybe at 12, and then basically Lando Norris probably 13%, and then Leclerc probably like about 5%, and everyone else I'm just going to limit. Max is not going to come in. Oscar's not going to do anything. Everyone else is pretty much done, unless there's some massive change and shift and all that stuff. Realistically speaking, I think Antonelli and Russell are the two biggest ones at this point. Hamilton, I don't think so. I honestly think that Norris probably could overtake him, maybe be P2, P3, depending. But time will only tell. Now with the Constructors' Cup, I mean, honestly, you've got Ferrari at 338. You got McLaren at 263, and of course you got Merck basically at 425 points. Red Bull way back in the pack at like 229, so like they're out basically. I think McLaren's problem has become obvious, where Norris has 159 points and Oscar Piastri has 104 points. I mean, that in and of itself shows that basically Piastri has to do really well. He has to finish in the top three. He has to finish in the top three, assuming Norris wins P1, gets P1 in all of them. Piastri has to get, be in the top three at that point for McLaren to have a shot at the Constructors' Cup. Right now, I think it's a possibility that Mercedes most likely will win it. It's possible Ferrari could if Leclerc and Lewis start doing P1, I mean P2, P3 often together. From that perspective, then because there is an 87-point gap between Ferrari and Mercedes at that point. So if if Leclerc and Hamilton are able to finish ahead of Russell and Antonelli wins first or second, I mean, it's a possibility Ferrari could come back. But reality is I'm gonna put the percentage at like basically Mercedes at 70%. Basically Ferrari at basically 22, and then of course McLaren maybe at 8%. Honestly, yeah, 8%. Because honestly, I don't think McLaren's going to do it unless Piastri's not. I think Piastri's folded under the pressure from last year, and like he's showing at this point this year as well too that he's got some head issues going on at this point. He's got the yips probably. I think that's what's probably going on. Ferrari, I mean, it all comes down to how they finish out at that point. So now, I guess what we should be watching for is this. Number one, is McLaren's pace real? I think that's the biggest question right there. And then the other factor is if Norris goes into Monza and is fighting for pole and wins again, then we see there's a pattern at that point that McLaren's pace is actually there. And then what it comes down to is if basically Norris is going to be pole positioning, let's see how Antonelli responds. I mean, reality is like pressure does affect people. It definitely caused issues with Oscar last year. He pretty much folded. Antonelli, this would be an interesting litmus test for him, basically, at this point for the next 3 races, to a point where, like at Monza, if Antonelli is seeing the pressure from everyone else, will he fold? If he doesn't, and let's say he's able to win in Monza, that would be impressive in and of itself. And then I think he probably have the chance of winning the championship. We'll put it this way: in Monza, if Antonelli doesn't finish P2 or P1, then I think that he might fold in the rest of the remaining parts of the race. I mean, that's a possibility. But my prediction, I would say possibly this is this. For the drivers' championship, I think Kimi Antonelli wins it, and of course, I think Merck wins it at that point as well too. But be on the lookout again, like the true wild card. I think for this case, for the drivers' championship, everyone's thinking of Russell and Lewis. Look at Norris. If Norris wins Monza, that's 3 in a row at that point, and if he does that, he might build the momentum to basically get him there, and might with it putting the pressure on Kimi to the point like Kimi could fold just like Oscar folded at that point. So it'll be interesting to see at that point. Do we see George Russell getting there and putting more pressure onto Kimi? Time will tell. I want to say Hamilton, the GOAT in this aspect, should be able to get it, but realistically speaking, I think it comes down to the car itself. And there were times where, like I said, Ferrari had it, the pace was there, the team strategy was there, but realistically, it seems like things have changed dramatically to the point like I think Ferrari has to get their things in order for them to be respectably back into the championship talk, basically, and for Hamilton, because like Hamilton with the right car, I think will definitely be there. If he was in Red Bull or if he was back in Mercedes, I think he would have won. I think he'd be leading the championship at this point. I don't know. I'll just leave it at that. Let me know your thoughts from that perspective. Leave it in the comment section. Who do you think is going to win based on Monza? Do you think that shows us the realistic litmus test of who might win it? Who might? It might be a precursor of who might win the championship from that perspective for drivers. With that, I'll leave it at that. Unfiltered, unedited, of course, always unrehearsed. Until next time.